Today we are working on solving proportions, and solving proportions should be pretty simple really, because it's kind of just setting up equations and then you're just solving for equations. Okay, so first of all, when we are working with proportions, you always keep the same units. We've talked about this before, across from each other. That's really important. So for example, on our notes the other day, here's the proportion note. Do you remember how I highlighted it and said the inches need to be across from each other and the hours need to be across from each other? That's what it's talking about, is your units need to be aligned. Okay. Now we have our example, x over 6 equals 15 over 2. Number 1. The first thing we need to do is, if the proportions are not set up as fractions, you need to make them into fractions. And so that's something that we've been working on with rates and ratios and just setting up proportions, is making sure you're writing them as a fraction. And so in this case, they're already set up, but if they weren't, that's what we would do first. Step 2 is to find the cross products and set them equal to each other. Okay, so if you were looking up here at our example, the cross products, we would have 2 times x, which is 2x, and then we would have 6 times 15, which if you can't do in your head, that's fine. I can do it in my head. But let's say I couldn't. Okay, because really 15 times 2 is 30. And so you would just, never mind. 6 times 15 is 90. So you have 90. And then we need to set them equal to each other. So if you notice, first I found the cross products, which is 2 times x, which is 2x, and 6 times 15, which is 90, and then I set them equal to each other. And now if you notice, you now have an equation. And when you're solving an equation, first thing you do is number 2 is distribute if needed, and then you just solve for the variable. So you do your railroad tracks, circle the variable. These are being multiplied, so the opposite operation is to divide. Those cancel and leave you with x. And then you have 90 divided by 2, which is going to give you 45. And so x equals 45. And that is how we solve proportions. So now if you look at our practice problems, we're going to do a few of these practice problems together before I send you off on your own. So if you notice, number 1 is a great example of a problem not being set up yet. If you have 3 books take up 4 inches on a shelf, I'm going to label books inches. Okay. How much space is needed for 26 books? And so I know books are on the top, so the 26 books are going to line up. And I don't know how much space. So it's really important that you know books are on the top. Okay? Inches or space is on the bottom. So now I'm going to cross multiply. 3 times x is 3x. 4 times 26, I don't honestly know that one. 104. And set them equal to each other. Then you just have your railroad track, circle the variable, divided by 3. X equals 104 divided by 3, which is going to be 34.6. And so X equals 34.6, and really it would be inches on this shelf. Okay, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are already set up, so that's kind of nice. Because now all we have to do is find the cross products. 10x equals 40 times 3, which is 120. Railroad tracks, circle the variable. These are being divided or multiplied, so you need to divide. Those cancel, and leave you with x equals 12. Because those cancel, should be 12 over 1. Okay, cross multiply 16k equals 6 times 8, which is 48. Railroad tracks, circle your variable, these are being multiplied, so you need to divide. If you notice, really all you'll be doing is dividing most of the time. 48 divided by 16 gives you 3. So k equals 3. If you notice it's not hard, you're pretty much just doing one-step equations. Okay, here's an interesting one, number 4. This is just like number 5 for you. 15 times 2x, which is 30x, equals 5 times 9, which is 45. And so here you do your railroad tracks, circle your variable, and then if you notice, you're just going to divide by that 30. And this isn't going to come out as a super pretty number, but we're fine with that because we can always have it as a fraction. 45 divided by 30. So I would just turn it into 3/2. But if you want to do 1.5, sounds great to me too. Or 1.5. I'll put both down. Okay, now number 5 is what you were looking at with problem number 4. It says distribute if needed. This is a distributing one. Okay, so what I want you to do is, I'm not going to do it because if you're not listening, that's how I'll know. But I want you to circle number 4, and I want you to circle number 5. So circle these two problems, and then circle this one too. So I want you to circle this one, and circle this one, because all of those have to do with distributing. Like I said, I'm not going to do it, but that's how I'll know if you were listening. Okay, so first of all, we find the cross products. 4 times 5 is 20, equals, and now we have to find the cross product. So it's 2 times d minus 2. And this is what I mean by distribute. You have 2d minus 4. So 20 equals 2d minus 4. I need some more space, so I'm just going to go like this. 2d plus 4. 20 equals 2d minus 4. So now it's just a two-step equation. Railroad tracks, circle your variable. Get rid of anything outside the circle first. So if it has a minus 4, you need to add 4. Those cancel or give you a 0, and you're left with 2d equals 24. And now you need to divide by 2. Divide by 2. D equals 12. And so if you notice over here, it's going to be the same thing. 20 equals 2 times x minus 2. When you cross multiply. So I'm not going to solve that one for you because I want you to be able to distribute it yourself and then set it up like I did and solve it. Okay? And then you have these ones. So get your practice done, and that's what I will check next time.